That is not Joshua's house, Josue. I'm not going to do video of their house or their immediate property. That seems too invasive, unfair. The first winter I was on the road, January and February of 21, Sister Mary Ellen, my friend and ally in Chicago, was chairing a COVID relief fund and paid my rent for 2 months to get in off the road, because up in the Appalachian Mountains, even though it's kind of south, it's high. It's 2,500 feet and up, and we were up higher than that. So we took shelter in Becky's walk-in basement apartment, very kind of repetitious of our first stop at Petula's walk-in basement apartment. And it was a nice apartment in a lovely old house, full of haunted memories about her abusive father who had built that house. And I said to her once, when I found out that the first 10 years in the house, all 4 of them lived in the basement room I was living in with my little Chihuahua Pancho, and all my sex abuse memories were coming back. I thought I had pretty well gotten over the hump with that stuff, but I had another rush of it. I said, shit happened in this room. So I asked her. I didn't ask her, I told her. I said, bad things happened to you in that room, didn't they? She said, that's history. I said, no, it's not. You're living with it every day. Every day. And she had a policy. She had a hound and a big, beautiful Great Pyrenees. And the policy was not to touch them. She said it was COVID precautions. She feared I would spread COVID by touching them. But I think it was just her policy not to give them love. She was a frozen person. And it turned out to be kind of a nightmare staying there, because after a few weeks of progressively opening up to me her trauma, it wouldn't be face to face. She was an introvert. But after a conversation, she'd send me a long email about how bizarre her father was, or text message, or her husband, how terrible and what a bastard he was. And then she turned around and felt overexposed and just turned cold and made me a non-person, would walk by and not indicate that she saw me. And that hound, I gave that love hound. I gave that hound love. But he was awfully jealous of my little Chihuahua, who had lots of love, had the kind of love he had not had. And once he attacked, twice, out of the blue, he just attacked Pancho. The first time Becky was there and I was waiting for her to stop him, but she didn't. Second time I was there and I whacked him. And it didn't make him afraid of me. He didn't stop loving me or coming to me for love. But it made him stay away from Pancho. When there's not enough love going to go around, people go into survival, right? And dogs. I did as a kid. One of the worst junctures of my personal growth path was at a Gestalt workshop in Amherst, Massachusetts, with Jack Canfield. Jack Canfield, hippie, guitar-playing Gestalt therapist, who later ended up co-authoring the Chicken Soup books. And he's a millionaire many times over. And I'm really glad for him, because he's a great guy with great values. But it was at that workshop that I hit a memory about me and my brother, where I basically took a position as the older brother that this very toxic, dysfunctional family, there's not enough love to go around. I'm taking it. I was born the star, born 9 years into their marriage. I was the prince, the star, and if he has to live in my shadow, that's it. I'm not going to help him. And it was so devastating. I was so disturbed to see that in me, that I had participated in systematically crippling him. He ended up a very crippled person from that kind of stuff, and from our mutual sex abuse which ran in that family. Oh yeah, and that was the other, at that point, I did not work through the part about the sex abuse because I still didn't have access to that. It was only much later, as my sex abuse memories came back, that I remembered that I had protected him, and then finally couldn't deal with being the victim any longer and stopped protecting him. So those are the two layers about me and my brother that were so horrifying. From, families where there's not enough love and protection and safety. So, that's your note. Okay, this guy walks into a... I'll come out of that heavy place, but you have to face it. You have to face it. And what kept me excessively speedy for a long time was not facing it, running ahead of the pain. So I don't have to tell a joke. I can just look at these mountains, listen to the rooster, look at my spectacular dog, right? And the fact that we're in Mexico after years and years of dreaming it, and we get to spend 3 weeks with a beautiful family who I love, who both speak wonderful English. And welcome to Mexico. Yeah.